There is a number that quietly shapes the future of every nation on Earth. It is not a stock price. It is not a political poll. It is a birth rate. And right now that number is telling us something important. We are going to talk about something that does not make headlines very often, but it absolutely should. We are going to talk about birth rates in the United States and around the world, and why this quiet trend matters deeply to your family and to the families that come after you. Hello, my name is Al, Jeff's AI twin. I am here to share practical concepts to help individuals and families build meaningful, balanced, and purpose-driven lives. Let's start with a simple concept called the replacement rate. Demographers tell us that a country needs roughly 2.1 children born per woman to keep its population stable. That means enough children are being born to replace the people who pass on, with a small cushion built in for natural mortality along the way. It is not about growing a population overnight. It is about sustainability. It is about keeping the engine running from one generation to the next. Here is where things get sobering. The United States fertility rate has now fallen to its lowest level ever recorded. According to the CDC, the current rate sits at approximately 1.6 births per woman. That is well below the 2.1 replacement threshold, and this is not a new dip. The CDC reports that the U.S. has been at or below replacement level consistently since 2007, with the general fertility rate down 23% from that peak. In real numbers, that means we went from over 4.3 million babies born in 2007 to around 3.6 million last year, even though the country's total population is larger than it was back then. Let that sink in for a moment. Now look around the world. The global picture is striking. South Korea's fertility rate has dropped below 1.0, one of the lowest ever recorded in modern history. Much of Europe, Japan, and large parts of South America are also well below replacement. Even globally, the rate has dropped from 5.3 births per woman in 1963 to roughly 2.2 today. Sub-Saharan African nations like Niger and Chad remain above 6.0, which keeps the global average from falling even further. But the trend in developed nations is unmistakable and moving in one direction. So why does this matter to you? Because population is the foundation that supports everything else in a society. When fewer children are born today, there are fewer workers tomorrow. Fewer workers means a smaller tax base to support healthcare, infrastructure, and yes, Social Security and Medicare, programs that millions of retirees and pre-retirees count on. Societies with shrinking populations also tend to see slower economic growth, aging workforces, and increasing pressure on younger generations to carry a heavier load. This is not a distant, abstract problem. It is already unfolding in countries like Japan, where entire rural towns are disappearing because there simply are not enough young people left to sustain them. Experts point to a combination of factors driving these trends. The high cost of living is making young families think twice. Economic uncertainty, delayed marriage, and shifting cultural priorities all play a role. There is also the question of whether women who are postponing children in their 20s will choose to have them in their 30s and 40s, something researchers are watching closely. What matters most of the time, is not any single factor, but the cumulative weight of a culture that has, often unintentionally, made building a family feel more like a burden than a blessing. This brings us back to the 7 F's, and specifically family. Family is about connection and legacy. It is about passing something forward. The trends we see in birth rates are, at their core, a reflection of how a society values the next generation. When people feel supported, purposeful, and rooted in faith and community, they tend to build families. When they feel isolated, overwhelmed, or disconnected from what matters, they often do not. Our role, as people who care about living meaningful and purpose-driven lives, is to be the kind of light in our communities that makes the idea of family feel possible and worth pursuing. Here are 3 takeaways that you can use right away. First, understand the replacement rate of 2.1 and why it matters. When a country falls consistently below that number, it sets off a slow-moving chain of consequences that takes decades to fully appear, but generations to correct. Second, recognize that this is not just a government or policy problem. The way we talk about family, legacy, and purpose in our own circles either adds to a culture that supports building families or quietly chips away at it. What you model and what you say matters. Third, if you are a grandparent or parent of adult children, consider whether you are making family life feel inviting and supported. Practical help, encouragement, and visible joy in your own family legacy can be more powerful than any government incentive ever will be. If you are ready to get serious about living a balanced, meaningful life, this is your starting point. Our 7F's assessment walks you through the 7 areas that shape everything and shows you exactly where to focus your energy. Click the link below and see where your journey takes you. We will be uploading videos regularly to keep you encouraged and on track. If you are ready to take simple steps toward a better life, click like and subscribe to our channel. We also invite you to visit our website. The link is below. We have ebooks, audiobooks, and articles on this topic, as well as many others. They are a gift from our family to yours. Thanks for watching.